control. That brings us to the second part of our series. It sets the stage for the second part of our series, which we started last week, which was the American Medical Association said that obesity is a disease. You may not know that, but they did. Almost like your doctor said it behind your back. The American Medical Association said in June of 2013 that obesity and being overweight is a disease. Now, if we pull up our sleeves and analyze this, just like we analyze Genesis. What did that mean? Let's analyze what the doctors were saying. They're saying two things. If it is a disease, they are saying it's an addiction. And be clear, everyone, you may want to write this down. They mean it is a disease of addiction. All addicts, this brings me back to Genesis. All addicts have a physiological reason for their disease and a psychological one. The physiological one we discussed last week, and I don't wish to go over that tonight in view of time. Tonight we're discussing the psychological undercurrent of the addiction. Listen to me, everyone. There is no question all addicts are rebellious. If you know one, an alcoholic, cousin Johnny who drinks too much, he may be funny at first, but after he slugs down a few more, after that cocaine addict goes past their threshold where they're performing better, they are now seen as rebellious and angry. They're doing whatever they want to do, even though they were told not to. It may never have occurred to you that God, the Bible, in its infinite wisdom, could possibly know that we would be rebellious, that rebellion and the desire to control could possibly be our primary human frailty. How could that be? It was written long before any of us were here, and yet the Bible begins with rebellion and control as being your primary, we're going to say, evil. Well, isn't that something? The rest of the Bible talks about how you should think. The initial part of the Bible talks about the issue and the consequences of rebellion and the desire to be your own God. So, a cocaine addict, a meth addict, an alcoholic, they are people who are, let me add one more, a foodie. They are people who desire things to be their way, under their control. And yes, it's a form of rebellion. How could it not be? Your doctor tells you if you eat the wrong thing, if you eat too much sugar, you're going to get diabetes. You do it anyway. Then the doctor tells you, if you eat too much of this, too much fried food, you're going to get high blood pressure and sticky blood disorders. And you do it anyway. And then you go back to the doctor, and sure enough, the doctor tells you, you have high blood pressure. Your blood sugar is high, and you are now officially diabetic. When you knowingly do something over and over and over and over again, beloved, that is rebellion. That is a way that you are telling the world, I will dag-nabbit do it my way, and I don't care what you say will be the consequences. Just like God. He said, if you eat from that tree, you will bring on death. If you eat from that one, you will be open to the consequences of death. And so we ignored that warning and we did it anyway. Guess what? It applies to your eating. So how come eating is both an addiction with a physiological cause and an emotional one? The emotional cause is you are doing exactly what you were told to do, not to do, over and over again. Michelle Edmonds, your coach, and a shout-out to Serenity enrollees, team members. You know who you are. I know you're out there. I can feel your energy. A shout-out to anyone who is thinking about enrolling. But as your coach, and if you enroll as your coach, the first thing I'm going to tell you to do is don't eat this. You may eat that. Now, I'm not trying to say I'm God, but I am going to say this. I lay out the rules just like God in His image. So I lay out the rules. Do not eat any white food. Stay away from the sugar. Stay away. Drink more water. And do you know that you won't drink water? You won't stay away from the sugar, and then you'll come back and say, Miss Edmonds, Coach, the doctor told me I was diabetic today. My blood sugar was through the roof. It was 272. This is a real story, y'all. And I'll say, didn't I tell you to stay away from that tree? And you'll look at me cross-eyed. And you'll go, what is she talking about? I said my blood sugar was high. And why is she talking about trees? Why is she talking about the Bible? Michelle, always trying to be deep. No, my ladies and gentlemen. It's not deep at all. In fact, I'm suggesting that the obesity problem is so basic and rudimentally grounded in the Bible that nearly every layperson has missed it. And I'm also going to be bold enough to say, so did many clergy. Why can I say that? Because you know it's true. Many clergy are overweight. So someone might say to me, are you saying that clergy could possibly be rebellious? Well, with the anointing that was placed on me to talk about nutrition within and outside of the body of Christ, yes, I am going to say that. Yes, I am. And it's not easy to say that. It's not easy to say to anyone, any adult, that your simple desire for that cupcake or that Starbucks coffee with the latte that you get every morning, that is your expression of rebellion. Now, I'm taking off my coat now because I'm getting worked up. It is analogous to you know how Italians, they give you, or that middle finger? I know this is a Christian broadcast, but we're going to keep it real. You know that middle finger that that bird you shoot off when somebody cuts you off? Or you know how Italians, they give you that arm up in the air and they go, That's what you were saying to me, but more importantly to God. Whenever you're told, don't eat that, that's going to kill you. Just like God said, don't eat from that tree. That's going to kill you. I'm saying the same thing to you, beloved. I'm saying the same thing. I am yelling from the rooftops, from the mountaintop. I, too, am saying, don't eat that. It's going to kill you. And you ignore it over and over and over again. What else could it be, beloved, but rebellion at the root, the desire to be in charge and in total control. And I'm going to go a step further. All rebellious people have anger undergirding that emotion. So now we have at least 4 questions on the table. If overeating and obesity is an addiction, we have at least 4 questions, or I'm going to be honest, that's about all I'm going to be able to answer for you tonight. If it's an addiction, the first question would be, is it food per se, or is there some other lurking evil? Well, the first thought should be, well, maybe it's sugar. Well, yes, sugar is highly addictive. Yes, that's true. So is bread and pasta. Anything that converts the sugar very quickly to glucose very quickly is more accurate, is highly addictive. Yes. But no, we're not talking about food per se. You know why? Because many of you will go all day and not eat at all. So then we have to say, well, what? It can't just be the food. Then the overeater has another underlying drive. What could it be? Because a cocaine addict would never, ever walk out of the house if the refrigerator was full of cocaine, would never walk out of the house and not take a hit. You know that. If a meth addict had a cabinet full of meth, a kitchen full, they would never rush out the house and go, oh, I'm running late now, I got to go, and leave all the meth there. You know that. So then what is different between the foodie and the other addicts, the alcoholic, the meth addict, the heroin addict, the cocaine addict? What's different about it? The difference is found in the Bible. If you forget the fact that there is a physiological underpinning, and remember there's also a psychological underpinning to food addiction, then it becomes more understandable. So, the answer to the first question. First question is it food per se, or is there some other lurking evil? Well, I'm going to say another lurking evil. We found the answer when we began in Genesis. The other lurking evil, rebellion, and your desire to be in control. So in other words, the foodie has this enormous desire to be in control of their environment. And so that means that's the only thing that explains why you eat when you shouldn't, or you don't eat when you should. Is that clear, everyone? If you are a control freak, someone who has to be in charge of everything all the time, then you're going to relish the fact that you don't eat when you should. Breakfast, beep, 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 breakfast. You're supposed to have breakfast. Everyone told you all your life, breakfast is the most important meal. So you skip breakfast, even though you should not. Then you don't eat all day when you should. You're never doing what you're supposed to be doing when you're told to do it. The world told you to eat 3 meals a day. You were eating, when you come to Serenity, my program, you tell me you eat an average of 1 to 2. When you come to my program, I then say, okay, let's get busy. You want to lose weight? Great. Yay, let's get going. And to that, I say eat no less than 5 meals a day. You know what you do, everyone? Now you come sliding in with 3. Well, isn't that a coincidence? We heard that somewhere before, didn't we? But notice when the world was telling you to eat 3, you were eating 1 to 2. Then when you come to Serenity Weight Loss and Detoxification Program, I tell you to eat no less than 5, and now you eat 3. Are you catching that, listening audience? It's doing what you want to do when you want to do it and how you want to do it. Number 2, if this is an addiction to like alcohol or cocaine, then why do you frequently skip meals on some days and do not eat at all? We just answered the question. Number 1, the lurking evil is rebellion. Number 2, you skip meals because eating what you shouldn't eat or not eating when you should eat